Howdy, y'all. I'm Justin.
And I'm Kim.
Welcome to Cowboys Like Us, the podcast where we talk about Taylor Swift and her music. Yeehaw. Hello, and welcome back to Cowboys Like Us, the only podcast on the internet. I made that joke before, and I'm sticking with it. I feel like it's a good one. I'm going to get merch that says that. Cowboys Like Us, the only podcast on the internet.
Yep. Sounds good.
We talk about one Taylor Swift song per week, and I realized shortly after uploading last week's episode that we had completely forgotten to announce this week's song. And do you know what that is, Kimberly?
That would be Superstar.
Superstar.
Fearless Platinum version. But also Taylor's version.
Right. But first, let's talk about the big news of the day. News from around the Taylorverse. We are recording this on July 7th, 2023, which some of you may recognize as the release date for Speak Now, Taylor's version.
Woo woo!
Woo!
It's been a exciting but stressful day.
Yeah, as somebody who was a fan back in the original Speak Now era,
Yeah.
is this an exciting time for you?
Yeah, it was. I actually stayed up last night. Came out at 11 our time because we were in Central Standard Time.
God's time.
God's time, yes. I stayed up, but when the moment finally came, I got a little intimidated. I got a little scared because Speak Now holds a very special place in my heart. And I was feeling particularly emotionally unstable yesterday. So I didn't feel as though I could listen to it in full yet. It was almost like the build-up had been so great that I was too scared to actually go through with it. So I just listened to Better Than Revenge because I needed to know. And then that was it. And I waited till today to listen to the rest of it. I have now listened through the entire album. One full listen through with every single song, and then basically like 1.99 listen throughs, because the first time I listened through, I skipped Long Live because I was on my way to work and at work, and I did not want to bawl my eyes out because that song has never managed to not make me cry.
Right. Speaking of feelings, I listened for the very first time all the way through.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This morning. And, yeah, it's a really good album. I'm glad we have it now. We'll get into the songs at great length when we talk about them. But just overall, I think it sounds great. I think Taylor's voice sounds great. Instruments sound great. Well produced. Big fan of everything. And I was caught off guard by Never Grow Up. Really wasn't prepared for that one. That one made me feel feelings, and I hate that.
Yeah, I was in the car listening to it from the start, and I got to Never Grow Up. And as soon as it started playing and I heard the guitar, I was like, oh no. And then I think I was about halfway through the first verse, and I went, oh my God, Justin has never heard this song. And then I realized that you were going to be in a pickle.
Yeah, and I had a lesser version of that with Innocent, which also evokes some emotion, but
yeah.
Never Grow Up was definitely the big one. And then I had not heard Speak Now before, the title track.
Yeah.
It's a good one. I liked Electric Touch, my boy Pat from
Yeah.
Fall Out Boy. He sounds
really
great.
Good.
Yeah. I expected it to be what it was, which was a Taylor Swift song that Pat was just tacked on to.
Features Patrick stuff, yeah.
But some of our associates were a little bummed out because they were hoping to hear Taylor on a old school Fall Out Boy song, yeah. And that just wasn't ever going to happen, so.
No. Not unless they invite her to feature on one of their songs.
On their album, yeah.
Which I think would be a fun thing to do.
That would be cool. She owes them one now.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, Speak Now, Taylor's version. Taylor said she wrote a whole long-ass prologue thing that I'm not going to read in detail, but an excerpt. Yeah. She said that I first made Speak Now completely self-written between the ages of 18 and 20. The songs that came from this time in my life were marked by their brutal honesty, unfiltered, diaristic confessions, and wild wistfulness. I love this album because it tells a tale of growing up, flailing, flying, and crashing, and living to speak about it. And she also added that in preparation for Speak Now, she underwent extensive vocal training, because I guess the original version of Fearless, she got knocked for having a weak voice.
That is not something that I knew, surprisingly enough. I like to pride myself in knowing a lot about Taylor Swift. That's not something I knew. And it's very interesting because there's been a lot of discussion about the difference between her voice in Speak Now and her voice in Fearless. And then the re-records and how they sound different than the originals. And a lot of people have been, not really upset, but like confused because Fearless, the original, or the stolen version, and Fearless, Taylor's version, there's a maturity to her voice, but it's not that much different. But Speak Now, there's such a drastic difference because Speak Now, she's so high and she's so nasally in the original. And I mean, it very much was a product of the time of everyone being like, she's the worst, she's a kid, she doesn't know what she's doing, she doesn't write her own songs, or she's not involved enough with writing her songs. She sings through her nose, or she doesn't sing through her nose enough, like constantly criticizing her. And so she was like trying to do everything that everyone wanted her to do. And I didn't know she went through vocal like training to do that. I figured she just tried to alter it herself, and that's why she ended up sounding so high and nasally in Speak Now. But that has been very drastic. My brain being like, this is not what this song's supposed to sound like. Her voice sounds so deep and so mature and so...
Yeah, no, I get that. Apparently she did, go through a lot of vocal coaching and stuff, trying to develop her voice. And I think you definitely can hear that with the re-records for sure, just in general. Another thing she mentioned in the prologue was that she had written every song on Speak Now because, like you said, people were questioning how much writing she actually did on Fearless and Debut.
How involved she actually was with the writing process.
Yeah, because if you have co-writers and you're also on there,
how much did you really contribute? Yeah,
who did what and all that. And so she said, they can't give all the credit to my co-writers if there aren't any. It was her idea. And all the original Speak Now songs written by Taylor and the vault ones and the bonus tracks. How many's on Speak Now TV? 22? 16? 18?
22.
22. That's right. Yep, all 22 written by Taylor, including Electric Touch and Castles Crumbling. I'd wondered about that, if Fall Out Boy or Paramore would get co-writes. They did not, and that's fine. She also said that the ages of 18 to 20, when she was writing Speak Now, are the most emotionally turbulent ones in a person's life, and she felt like this was really the end of her childhood and sort of the beginning of her adulthood, which you can hear on Never Grow Up and Long Live and
Innocent.
Yep, different things. So this is the third Taylor's version that we have now.
Yeah.
Still waiting on 1989 Debut and Reputation.
Yeah, I think 1989 will be next.
Right.
Reputation will be after that, and then I think we'll get Debut last.
I've always kind of thought she would do Debut last, sort of a closing the circle type thing.
Yep.
Which is cool. But yeah, so her idea with those re-records was to undercut the value of her original masters and thus dick Scooter Braun over.
Yes.
And, well, it's working really, really, really well. Here are some numbers that I found. Since Fearless Taylor's version came out, the amount of streams of the Taylor's version versus the original is 3-1. Taylor's version streamed 3-1 over the original, and then purchases is even way more lopsided. The Fearless Taylor's version physical record has been bought 18-1 over the original.
That's crazy.
And Red, we see very similar numbers except for streaming, where Red is even more in Taylor's favor. The Red TV has been streamed 10 times to every one of the original Red, and it's been bought at 21-1. So
I think there's a lot more Red fans out there, Red Swifties, who want the physical copies and things like that. and listen to it more than there are Fearless.
Yeah, at this point, I
Centered.
think it definitely has more staying power and more songs people want to
It's
listen
got the better vault tracks too.
to. Yeah. And Speak Now, we'll see.
Yeah.
Based on those numbers, it looks good.
Based on and the response that we've had today, people are loving it. So
They're not mad about the lyric change on Better Than Revenge. And
oh, they're mad about that, but other than that, pretty much every other song is flawless. And the vocal fry in Last Kiss, people were hoping that she would recreate that, and that didn't happen. I think that's hard to manufacture and make it seem natural.
yeah.
And when she originally recorded Last Kiss, all of it was very fresh. The material and all of the emotions were fresh, and she was a kid. So the fact that her voice cracks and it sort of sounds like she's getting emotional makes sense. But it doesn't for, a 32-year-old re-recording the song that she's, played a million times.
Yeah, and also as somebody who is now involved in producing audio, the idea that you'd want vocal fry and seek to recreate vocal fry is crazy. You wouldn't do that. That's just stupid. Don't do that. Vocal fry is bad, okay?
Well, I say vocal fry. That might not be the best term, but it's like a little crack.
Voice cracks, yeah.
She's about to, cry is what it sounds like.
Okay.
And for some reason, they wanted her to recreate that. I don't know. That just seems a little wild to me.
Yeah.
I'm not on that team at all. But Better Than Revenge, I was a big fan of Better Than Revenge off of the original album. So there has been a lot of speculation over whether or not she would change the problematic lyric in the original one. There was a leak of the booklet from the Target physical copies, so everyone kind of already knew the lyric had been changed, but it was like, how is it going to fit in the music? I think it works pretty well. I'm not mad about it. It's going to take my brain a lot of training because I've had 13 years of singing She's Better Known for the Things That She Does on the Mattress. So I'm really going to have to work on that new lyric, but, I don't think it's such a big deal. I've seen a lot of the, more intense Swifties saying that they are going to just have to stream the stolen version of that song and then listen to Taylor's version of the rest of the album, and I just really don't think it's that deep. I don't think it's that serious. I feel like you should respect her want and willingness to change the lyric. A lot of people requested that of her, and she didn't have to do that. That's not how she wrote it. And sometimes, as teenagers, we say things that we regret later in life, but any other person wouldn't be able to go back and change it, and she has that opportunity. So I don't put it, I don't disagree with her.
Yeah, Taylor's 32 now. She was potentially 18, 19 when she wrote that song.
Yeah.
And, she just has a different outlook on things now. She probably felt embarrassed having to re-record it as originally written. I think that's what it probably came down to. It was like, I don't really stand by that anymore, because slut shaming is bad.
Yeah. At the time, she was a teenager who felt scorned, and that was the state of the world. The world is so different now. It's 13 years later. It's so different. Feminism has taken on a different role and a different face and everything, and so I understand why she did it, and I stand with her on why she did it, and I fully support that. But had she not done it, I would have also been like, cool, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, Hayley Williams of Paramore featured on Speak Now TV and going to be opening for Taylor on international dates.
And already opened for her at the Arizona dates.
Right. Paramore's breakout song, Misery Business, calls a girl a whore in that.
Yeah, it's a little slut-shaming.
Yeah, and she was so ashamed of that song that Paramore didn't play that song on tour for years, which is wild, because that was their breakout song, and really until probably Still Into You, that was their biggest song by a lot. So that was a power move for sure. Yeah, so I think Taylor found a way around that, and she can play the new version on tour whenever she wants to.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be different if she was still writing lyrics like that. I don't feel like you could use the, card of it was a different time. She was a kid, whatever, if she was still like kind of teetering the line of misogyny or, slut shaming or whatever. But we know that she can write more poetic ways of saying things like that than being so blunt about it. So I think you got to give her a little bit of grace on that one and be like, man, it was a different world we lived in. Let her have it.
Right. Speaking of the Eras Tour, more dates have come out, I believe.
Kim was right.
Yep, more dates have come out, and it is now projected, the most recent projection I saw, is projected to earn $1.4 billion. The highest grossing tour of all time, currently, is Elton John's Farewell Yellow Brick Road tour, which I believe is also currently still happening, but is projected to earn $853 million. So Taylor's gonna lap the field, basically.
Yeah.
And she keeps adding dates, so that number may keep going up and up. Might hit $2 billion, who knows?
Yeah. I don't know how she does it. Like, stamina-wise, physically, I don't know how she does it. I know she's gonna have little breaks and stuff, but yeah, it's crazy. She has 6 total dates she has 6 in Los Angeles too, but she has 6 total dates in London, and she like goes to London, does like the rest of Europe, and then comes back and does London again. And right now that looks like that's where the tour ends off. But
yep, and it's a very long, very elaborate stage show, very carefully choreographed. And in Cincinnati, she ran into an issue with that potentially put some stuff in jeopardy, but she was quick on her feet.
She recovered well because she's a professional.
Yep, she was on a trap door that was supposed to let her down under the stage to do a quick change maneuver, but it did not open. She stomped on it, still didn't open, so she took off running backstage, and then people posted that on TikTok and everything, and she commented and said, "Still swift as fuck, boy." Which is funny.
That's good.
Because that's her name.
I hadn't seen her comment. That's amazing. But I have seen the video, and it's really funny. It cracks me up every time. It's something about her, like, holding the ending pose and being like, something's supposed to happen. And then, like, the almost, like, little girl tantrum kick that she gives it is so funny. She picks her leg, like, all the way up and slams it down. And then nothing happens. And then a lot of people have been like, they're probably in her ear being like, run, you just gotta run. And she takes off. She's in heels, like full on heels. And she just takes off running and bypasses all of her dancers who have been leaving stage. And her dancers, like, see her coming up, so they like part the ways. And she just runs past them.
Yep, she did. She tried to kick it open and that didn't work.
Yep.
So, fun stuff.
I guess she thought the people under the stage forgot their cue to bring her down.
Right. In other news, we learned that Mr. Ringo Starr is a Swiftie. So he's one of the ever-growing list of celebrity Swifties to go with Flavor Flav and Smokey Robinson.
Yep.
Alex Morgan of the U.S. Women's National Team, soccer team, and just a bunch of people.
Oh, there have been so many, yeah.
But Ringo, of course, you may know as the drummer of a band called the Beatles.
Never heard of them.
Kind of a big deal.
We've definitely never talked about them ever before.
And he said in an interview with People magazine, there are several great bands out there and girl singers out there. I mean, the biggest star in the world, Taylor, we used to meet her when she was like 5 at the Grammys with her mother. And the beat goes on. I think he's being hyperbolic and remembering when she was like 15, 16, but he's old, so everybody's young when you're old.
I mean, yeah.
She was young. That's
Absolutely.
What it means. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think she was going to the Grammys at 5.
I don't think so either.
Not that I'm aware
She
of.
was living on a Christmas tree farm in Pennsylvania. I don't think she was going to the Grammys.
Right. And also, Mr. Justin Trudeau, the president of Canada,
Heard of him?
has tweeted out a plea requesting that Taylor bring Eras to Canada, which she currently has not done, has not scheduled to do.
Yeah, no plan to go to Canada at this time.
And if you can believe it, the fine people at Fox News are upset about it. Because, You fangirling over Taylor Swift? In this economy? With this wildfire, bro? Seriously? On God? Dead ass? The pearl clutching is real, and it's repugnant, and, you know.
Let the man like who he likes, okay? The president of any country has a hard job.
You know, you don't want to say it, but maybe all right-wingers should be... I don't know legally what I'm allowed to say.
I was going to say, I think you need to stop while you're ahead.
We don't like right-wingers on this podcast.
Because I know how you typically end that sentence, and I don't think it's appropriate.
Yeah, no actionable threats on this podcast. But exactly. We don't like right-wingers. Boo on you.
He thinks they all should sit down and shut up. There we go. That's nice enough.
Yep, take several seats.
Yes.
So... did you have something about a fish?
Oh, yes. About a fish.
About a fish?
Well, okay. So, in the original Speak Now tour, Taylor played with a special guitar. It was blue with koi fish on it. Kind of around the... I do not know the technical terms of a guitar, but around the hole in the guitar, they were like koi fish.
Okay.
You may remember that there are koi fish floating through the sky, the clouds, in the music video for, I believe it's Lavender Haze or Bejeweled, one of the Midnights singles. But anyway, koi fish come up a lot in Taylor's stuff, but it all started with the guitar that she used on the Speak Now tour originally. She used that guitar to play Last Kiss on tour. And that guitar has been living in the Country Music Hall of Fame in Nashville, Tennessee, in the Taylor Swift section for the longest time. But on Thursday, July 6th, it was removed temporarily from its case, and a little sign was popped up that said temporarily removed. So, a lot of speculation that she has had it shipped to her in Kansas City so that she can play it this weekend on tour, play the guitar. So a lot of people have been wondering, does that mean we're going to get extra Speak Now songs? Currently on the set list, she only plays Enchanted from Speak Now, but now that we have Taylor's version, is she going to add Last Kiss? Is she going to add Long Live? Is she going to add something else? Or is she going to use it for the acoustic section of the show and play a bunch of Speak Now songs there, vault songs, things like that? You know, where did it go? What happened to it? That's basically what everybody wants to know.
Yeah. Why does it have to be that one? There are infinite numbers of guitars Taylor could have.
Yeah. And that one...
and does have, I presume.
Yeah, holds such significance to the Speak Now era. Much like for the Fearless era, she had like a Bejeweled guitar.
Yeah.
And I don't know that she even has it anymore. I don't know that anybody has it. I don't know what happened to it. But either way, for this tour, she wanted that same vibe because that was the guitar she played for the Fearless. So she had her parents bedazzle a guitar for her that she plays on stage every night.
There you go. Was that the only news item you had?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then it's time for Chart Watch.
Chart Watch.
Chart Watch.
Chart Watch 2023.
So, Taylor has retained her spot this week atop the Billboard Artist 100, which, as you recall, combines the singles charts and the album charts to determine who's having the best week overall. Taylor is firmly atop it. On the Billboard Top 200 album chart, Midnights stayed at 4. Lover went up 1 to number 9. Folklore stayed at 14. 1989 stayed at 18. Reputation went up 2 spots to number 21.
Big Reputation.
Red TV stayed at 25. Speak Now is the big riser, up 10 spots to number 29, and presumably it's going to drop off this week altogether, and Speak Now TV is going to go way up.
I was going to say, I sure hope so, but I bet those are a bunch of people who are listening to it to kind of like get it fresh in their mind before they listen to the new one.
Yeah, they couldn't wait.
Unfortunately.
Traitors. Fearless TV up 3 spots to number 35, and Evermore sitting tight at 40. And then on the Hot 100 singles chart, Karma with Ice Spice dropped a spot to number 8. Cruel Summer continues climbing. It's up to 13 now. 5-spot jump, and Anti-Hero down 4 spots to number 16.
I was just going to say Cruel Summer at 13. Nice! Nice!
Yo. All right. Is it time for the Clown Corner?
Sure.
All right. We didn't go last week to the Clown Corner. There was much outrage in the fandom. And now back by popular demand, Kimberly's Clown Corner.
Let's go to Clown Town.
Kimberly's Clown Corner.
A short and sweet one today, for sure, but,
She's got a whole 2 pages of notes over there, so
I
I'm
write big.
skeptical of that, but we'll see.
I write big. It depends on how much we actually, get into it. We'll see. Join us for this ride. But we are going to talk about some active, in this moment, Speak Now Taylor's Version clownery
Oh boy.
that's going on.
The cutting edge.
Yes. So, as mentioned before, we are recording this podcast on Friday evening, July 7th. So we will know if this clownery, came to fruition, or if we were just, sitting here with big old red noses on and giant shoes by the time this podcast comes out. But, you let us know. Were we right? Were we wrong? Were the Swifties right? Were they wrong?
That's right. These are not original theories, I don't believe.
No, they're not. But, whether or not we agree with them, we will find out.
Indeed.
So, my main source of this clownery is a TikToker that I follow, a Swiftie TikToker. Her handle is Thrifty Swiftie, and her name is Jenny. She's cool. She's got a lot of information.
Follow Jenny on TikTok.
Hell yeah, Thrifty Swiftie. She's awesome. All right, so when the original Speak Now album came out, Taylor did an interview where she mentioned that, she was taking on the writing for this album on herself for the first time. And she said that she wrote 40 to 50 songs for the album.
Right.
And really had to be cutthroat about which ones she put on the album. So the album comes out, then we get the Target exclusive deluxe edition that added 3 songs to that. And now we have those minus one of the Target deluxe edition songs, and plus the vault tracks. So Speak Now Taylor's version has 22 songs total with 6 vault tracks. If this were a movie, came out when she dropped a handful of additional songs right before the Eras tour began, and she assigned it to Fearless Taylor's version instead of Speak Now Taylor's version. So if this were a movie, or if this was a movie, had been on Speak Now Taylor's version like it was originally, then we would have 23, but we currently have 22. We may never know why she added it to Fearless instead of Speak Now, but maybe we will. That could be fun if she'd let us know it. Yeah. So, the speculation is, we're sitting at 6 vault tracks, and she's told us that she has so many more sitting in the backlog. Speculation is she going to drop an additional set of vault tracks? So the number 7 has been coming up a lot since Eras Tour started. And a lot of people were like, oh, well, it was her giving us clues that Speak Now was coming out on July 7th. And, she announced it on May 5th and all this stuff. But 7 has been repetitive.
7/7.
7/7.
July 7th.
Coming out, yeah. So Speak Now came out on 7/7. So there's a lot of 7s. So if she added an additional 7 vault tracks at some point, that would give her a total of 13 vault tracks.
Okay.
Which sounds like some shit she would do.
Do we know?
Yeah.
It sounds like, from what you said, that was when Speak Now came out, or around the time that Speak Now originally came out.
Yes.
That interview where she said she'd written 50 songs or whatever.
Yeah.
For it. Well, if she hasn't mentioned it lately, we could potentially have run into a case where some of them ended up on Red, being reworked or, further developed, and ended up on Red, as some artists do, or, even later albums, just kind of kept around until she got it a little more.
Yeah, that's definitely possible, but sitting at, let's say she wrote 50, so it's not 40 to 50, it's 50 songs.
Right.
Sitting at 22 on this album, not counting the one on Fearless. That still leaves you 28 songs to play with. And I don't think she's taken 28 songs
forward
across other albums.
No, probably not.
So I still think she has enough to work with. That, and who knows, it could be greater than 50, you know? She could have just been estimating a range. It could have been more than that.
Yeah, I don't know. I would wonder what stage of completeness they got to, and you know, that whole thing. Were they like written in full and not recorded? Were they written and recorded and just not released? What level of written are we talking about here? Because, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole point of clownery. We don't know.
That's right, we're clowning.
We don't know. So you make some assumptions. And I'm going to assume, based off the way she said it, that they're fully written but not recorded.
Okay.
And so she did a first pass, narrowed it down to a certain amount, maybe did a second pass, narrowed it down a little more, recorded some, and then narrowed it down yet again from there, is what I would imagine she did as an artist.
Right. Well, she wouldn't have the original recordings anyway, because they'd belong to...
Exactly. But I'm just saying the way they got knocked off the list in the beginning was probably that series of events.
I'm just saying, correcting myself really more than anything.
So, yeah, she could drop 7 more vault tracks. It would make 13. She loves the number 13. And also, we've seen her do that before. She did it with Midnights, you know, dropped additional tracks the same night that she dropped the album, and then she has since then dropped even more. So, you know, it's not totally out of the realm of something Taylor would do. So when would she do this, do you think?
When would she release the expanded edition?
Yeah. In this clownery, in this clown town that we're living in right now, she's dropping 7 more vault songs to make 13 vault songs total. When is she dropping it?
I don't know, the 13th.
Sunday, July 9th.
Why?
Okay, so obviously nowadays albums come out on Fridays, so her album had to come out on Fridays for chart, you know, things, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So she had to put it out on the 7th. July 9th is a date that is referenced specifically in Last Kiss, and it has become the official Speak Now Swiftie holiday. It is a holiday for Swifties. July 9th is a big deal. So even when she announced Speak Now, she said just in time for July 9th. Like, she knows it's a Swiftie holiday.
Right.
So I think she released Speak Now, or I think. A lot of people speculate, but I also think she released Speak Now on Friday for all of the, you know, industry purposes on the 7th. And then she's going to release a second drop of extra songs on Sunday the 9th in commemoration of the Swiftie holiday for Last Kiss. But there's a little bit of evidence to back this theory up. If you go on Apple Music or iTunes, whatever you iPhone users use, and you scroll to the bottom of Speak Now Taylor's version, it shows you the release date is July 7th, 2023.
Right.
Which is accurate. However, if you search the album, when the album pops up, you know, next to it, it says releasing, or it says the release date underneath it, July 9th, 2023. Which is a Sunday. Why would it come out on a Sunday? Why would they have it set to come out on a Sunday if it wasn't an accidental oopsie-daisy for an additional drop?
Right.
Also, there is a new social media app called Threads.
Which we are on, by the way. Follow
Instagram.
us on Threads.
Yes, we are on. Follow us. I think it's Cowboys Like Us _pod, like all the rest of our stuff. Oh, I know it is because it's linked to our Instagram. You have to have an Instagram to join Threads. So Threads has been a great place to be, a lot of fun to look at all of that stuff, but on there, Spotify posted a thread, I guess is what you call it, that said, what are you doing to celebrate July 9th? And that's all it said. There was absolutely no reference to Taylor Swift or Swifties, so like not, hey Swifties, what are you doing to celebrate July 9th? Anything relating to her was left out.
So if you weren't a Swiftie, you wouldn't know what that was.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Swifties were going absolutely feral in the responses to it because of that. So do they know something we don't know? Much like Apple Music, do they have an inside knowledge on what's going on?
Well, what we do know is that July 9th is not a holiday of any kind. It's just a random...
Exactly. It's
random
only a
Sunday.
holiday to Swifties.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not a real holiday. So why would they be saying it like that? So anyway, those are 2 things that add a little bit of evidence, so some people think, to the whole thing. So, last but not least, another clue that we may be actually getting a second drop of some sort is that there are 2 songs missing from the Speak Now Taylor's version re-record.
What are they?
They are Haunted, the acoustic version,
Okay.
and Mine pop version.
Mm.
So those were on the original album when it came out, or maybe the deluxe album, I don't remember. But anyway, they were part of the original release.
Right.
And honestly, I feel a little scorned because I absolutely adore Haunted acoustic version.
Mm.
Hot take, more than Haunted the original version.
Spicy.
So I was very sad when it was announced that it wasn't on there. Mine pop version, I don't really care. But we got Forever and Always piano version on Fearless and State of Grace acoustic version on Red. Taylor's versions of both of those.
Right.
So why didn't we get Haunted acoustic and Mine pop?
Because it's on the extended thing.
Yeah, because
Maybe.
it's on an additional drop with a couple of other new songs. So that's, I mean, if she dropped those are 2 right there that she doesn't have to rewrite. They're just different mixes. So then she only has to drop 5 more, like, vault songs, technically.
Right. So, I guess let's go on the record here. Sunday, July 9th. Do we get more songs?
Yeah, I'm going on record and clowning and saying, I think Sunday we're going to get some extra songs.
All right. Well, I hope you are right, but for the sake of drama, I'm going to say, no, you're clowning.
All right, we'll see who's right. We do have an Eras Tour show tonight, Kansas City, Missouri, and then again in Kansas City tomorrow. So we could get an announcement for that either night, but I think more likely tomorrow night. It'll be like a out at midnight thing for Sunday morning.
Sure.
Because I think tonight there's going to be just so much hype around Speak Now Taylor's version, and she's going to do some fun stuff with probably the Koi Fish guitar and, you know, some other stuff. So maybe play like a vault track for acoustic set. So I think there'll be a lot going on tonight with the release being today that she might save the announcement for tomorrow. But I'm on the team. I think she's going to do it.
All right. Well, we'll find out soon enough. That it for the Clown Corner?
That is.
All right. Well, I guess it's time then to get into some facts about our Song of the Week, which, if you recall from long, long ago, was Superstar. And I don't think we shall tarry here over long because it's kind of a simple song, but there is a lot of interesting lore behind its origin, I think. It was originally released on the Fearless Platinum Edition back in 2008, and it was written by Taylor Swift and Liz Rose. The Taylor's version of the song was produced by Taylor and Christopher Rowe, and the original was by Taylor and Nathan Chapman. Like we said in one of our previous episodes, Chapman has not been involved with the re-records at all. Christopher Rowe has been in his spot. I found an article saying that, you know, Chapman still works with Big Machine artists and stuff.
Okay.
So it's probably that. It's just a mess.
Yeah.
You know, he's Team Scott or whatever. How dare he?
Yeah.
But, you know, you gotta follow the money, so I get it. Liz Rose is kind of a big deal, though. She is a country music songwriter, and she's got 17 songs with Taylor that she co-wrote. Some of the big ones are Fearless, You Belong With Me, and All Too Well. So,
Heavy hitters.
yep, she's been along for some big ones,
Yeah.
for sure. All right, so Taylor has said that the 6 additional songs added to Fearless for the Platinum Edition fit into 3 categories. Brand new songs that she'd written since Fearless Standard came out, songs that almost made Fearless Standard but didn't, and songs she wrote at 14 or 15 and re-recorded recently. And most people think that Superstar is one of those. And that is because Taylor reportedly released a digital EP at some point in 2005 called Majorly Indie Demos. But I can't find anything on it other than like the name and that Superstar was supposedly on it. Taylor did have several self-released demo tapes.
Yeah.
And their track lists and stuff are available. You can see photos of the album art and everything with the track lists on them.
Right, but as of now, I think those only exist in like physical copies from back in the day.
You can't stream them.
I'm really hoping we get a lot of those on debut for Vault songs, though.
Yeah, that would be cool. Superstar was supposedly on Major Indie Demos. And there was also a We Were Happy demo on it, and demo of our song, and a song called Sweet Tea and God's Graces.
Yep.
Possibly some more. The complete track list is not available. Can't find it anywhere. Yeah, so...
I think Sweet Tea will be on debut on Best of All Tracks.
But anyway, potentially Superstar written when Taylor was 14, which would be very impressive, I think. Because it's a, it's a solid song. Solid song. What has Taylor said about this song?
Not shit.
That's right. I couldn't find a single thing. I looked high and low. She has not cared to comment on it at all.
Damn, don't you hate when you think of a joke after the fact? I should have said, quote, not shit.
Yep. And similarly, the critical reception been a bit scarce, ain't it?
Critical, isn't it?
In it, Phoebe Briggers. Yeah, no one has bothered to mention it in their reviews of Fearless Platinum or of Fearless Taylor's version.
People really just sleeping on this song.
They are. What about the fans? Do the fans care?
Well, Rob, our boy, you know him, you love him. He ranked Superstar at 169, which, I mean, is not in the 200s.
Yeah, it's 50-ish spots higher than Change, so
yeah.
that seems about right.
Yeah. And then on Reddit's Fearless Taylor's version Survivor, they ranked it 26 of 26.
Yep, they voted it off the island first.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Really over Change. Change is one of the worst songs I've ever heard.
Change sucks. You All Over Me is not good.
Yeah, I mean...
Those are two right there. I'd have got rid of both of them over Superstar easy.
I don't get it.
Coming with the Rain, I don't care for much. I'd have got rid of that one. I got Other Side of the Door ran for that one.
There are stands for You All Over Me, Coming with the Rain, and On the Other Side of the Door. I've never met a stand for Change.
People are allowed to have wrong opinions.
I mean, yeah. I'm just saying, I've met people with those opinions, and that's fine. There are people I know for sure out there with those opinions. I've never met a person who was like, my favorite Taylor Swift song is Change.
Because I'm an idiot. Yeah.
Exactly.
No one says that. No one says that. But anyway, the people have spoken. 26 out of 26. So be it. Our thoughts on the song. My first thought, fuck r/Taylor Swift. Because Superstar is a good song. Is it a great song? No, it isn't. It sounds like something a very talented 14-year-old girl could have written.
Yeah.
And then, had some help with the production work and everything to make it really pop, Brought somebody down from Indianapolis to mix it professionally. That's an I think you should leave reference, deep cut for the homies. Yeah, I think it's simple musically and lyrically very sort of young and innocent sounding, naive to a point. But I think that would make sense if she wrote it at the age of 14. And I think it has strong melodies, particularly the bridge I'm fond of. And I feel like a lot of teenagers probably had very similar experience and relate to it when they hear it, particularly teenage girls, because that's just the nature of fandom.
Girls. Yeah.
Yeah. You were laying there creaming over, One Direction and all them. So, you know what it is.
Okay.
You don't like the word creaming so much?
It was deeper than that, okay?
Yeah, it wasn't just about sex, it was love. But yeah, I vibe with it, I vibe with it. If it comes on, I'm like, nice.
Nice. Yeah, I agree with all of what you said. I think I have absolutely no musical accolades in any way, shape, or form, right?
Right.
I don't know what I'm talking about. But this song feels like, she got discovered at Bluebird Cafe in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
And this song feels like a song a 14-year-old would write and then go to Bluebird Cafe and be like, I wrote this song, and play it. And then some guy would be like, you know what? I see the potential.
Yeah.
This is not going to be your greatest song ever written, but I see that you have potential.
No, yeah. If a 14-year-old girl wrote this and played it, I would definitely sign that 14-year-old. I'm like,
yeah,
that one's got the stuff.
14-year-old walked up to me on the street and was like, hey, I'm going to play a song for you, and then played this song. I'd be like, damn, you should write songs.
Yeah. And
You should record songs.
I've had that happen from older people in Atlanta when I've been to shows in Atlanta downtown at the Tabernacle and stuff, and I've had people come up to me and like, hey, you know,
Can I play my music?
yeah,
Yeah.
can I play you this demo we made? And I'm like, yep. And none of them have sounded as good as Superstar. None of them have.
There was a band outside of a boy band trio outside of the Ed Sheeran concert that Mom and I went to. That were doing that. They were like, hey, we're going to play you a snippet of our song from our CD, and then you can buy a CD if you like what you hear. And, of course, I was a sucker for a boy band, so as soon as they started playing their music, I was like, hell yeah, give me a CD. And I think they were selling their CDs for literally like $10. But they have very similar songs to these, and those were grown-ass men. Yeah. And by grown-ass, I mean they were probably like 24 at the time, but I was 19.
Yeah, mine were some emo punk guys, and they wanted to sell their CDs, and I bought one because I'm a nice guy.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was very good. And they were, like you said, grown adults, 20-something, probably. So, yeah.
It is totally escaping me what the band's name is. But I actually I followed them on Instagram and kind of followed their career there for a minute. They put out some better songs, but...
All right, well, I guess then it's time to move on to our rankings. First, though, let me pull up the fan ranking for...
Oh, yeah. Poll results.
Well, our Right Where You Left Me poll is not closed just yet. Babe got a 6 from the people. The people have spoken. And they say it's a 6, which is lower than we gave it.
Did I give it a 7?
We both gave it a 7.
Okay. I was like, I cannot remember what I gave it now.
I still feel good about a 7. I think for
I feel
me
good about a
that's
7
right.
too. I feel like that's balanced out because some people gave it probably lower than we did. So
Yeah. Yep. There's no accounting for taste. So, Babe got a 6. Right Where You Left Me is currently still open. Get in there and vote. It's currently at like a 7.5 is what it's on. And we don't give halves on this podcast. So get in there and tip it one way or the other, if you would. All right.
I was going to say, don't insult our fans. We only have a handful of them.
Nope. What about this one? What do you give Superstar? For the listeners, we rank from 1 to 10 every song. 1 is bad, 10 is good, 5 is mid. And what do you give Superstar from 1 to 10?
Un momento, por favor, because I don't want to get this wrong. I gave Superstar a 7.
Do you now?
Yeah.
Okay.
A little higher than you did, but I stand by it.
You don't know what I've given it.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
How
All right,
dare you?
again. Let me say that again. Sorry. I cheated. I give it a 7. A little high, but
if that's how you feel, that's how you feel.
I stand by it. I don't typically skip it because it's got some bops in it. It makes me feel good when I listen to it. It's just a good bubblegum pop song that makes me feel like a kid. So, I don't typically skip it.
There you go.
So that's why I put it at a 7.
You gave it a 7. You gave 22 a 6. So you think Superstar is a better song than 22 in your view. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
I stand behind it. Come for me if you want to. But Superstar isn't nearly as repetitive, and the repetitiveness gets on my nerves a little bit.
Sure. Well, everyone's entitled to their opinion, certainly. Like I said, I do like Superstar, but I do feel it's, a simple song, and for that reason, I've given it a 6. It's definitely not indicative of where Taylor ended up going in her career, just as far as the quality of songwriting. But like you say, if you heard a 14-year-old girl play that at a cafe in Nashville, you could definitely see that she has potential and want to give her a record deal. So I definitely see that angle. And I like it. It's a good song. I don't really seek it out. But if it comes on, I'm happy about it.
Yeah. I think in comparison to 22, also, because this was on the Fearless Platinum Edition, I didn't listen to it nearly as much back in the day.
Didn't wear it out.
Right. And so 22 is very worn out to me, whereas Superstar isn't to this day. So that definitely influences my number ranking a little bit.
Gotcha. Well, We are going to put a poll on this episode in Spotify.
Yeah.
Potentially also on the social medias. I don't know if the Gremlin is working on that.
Yep.
Get on there. Let us know what you rate it. And we will announce it once we have it.
Yep. Again, if you've joined Threads through Instagram, follow us on there. Instagram and Twitter like normal, but Threads seems like it's going to be doing better than Twitter, so maybe it'll just be Instagram and Threads soon.
Yeah, we may need to re-record the outro with the Threads tag instead. But you get to it through Instagram, so I mean,
yeah.
they'll find it.
You'll find it.
You'll find it.
But, yeah, I wouldn't worry about it right now. We'll just see how Threads takes off.
Right.
If you know at this point.
What is our song for next week? We'll remember to do that announcement because we are a real podcast. We're pros.
The question is, am I ready to commit myself to this being the song next week? Do you think we're ready?
I think so.
Think we're ready?
Yeah. Here's the thing. We've been giving the people humor, talking about Easter bunnies and all that fun stuff.
So we can get a little dark.
So I think it's time to let a little bit of pathos in.
Okay.
And some emotion. Connect with our listeners on a human level.
Show that we're real people.
That's right.
We're not just celebrities.
We're not just so funny, you guys. Okay? We have depth.
We're not just stand-up comedians.
That's right.
We are also human. Okay, well, in that case, next week's song is Bigger Than the Whole Sky from Midnight's, the 3 a.m. edition. Right? Or is it on the standard album?
It is on the 3 a.m. edition.
Right, okay, I thought I was right. Bigger Than the Whole Sky from Midnight's 3 a.m. edition.
Yep. Get ready to cry, because I probably am gonna.
We're probably both gonna cry, so
yeah.
Be prepared.
I'm gonna cut as much of it as I can, but we'll see how much I can cut.
If we go from sounding normal to sounding very stopped up and like snotty, then it's because we cut out a bunch of crying.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you all so much for listening. We will see you next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Cowboys Like Us. Follow us on Twitter at cowboyslike_pod and Instagram at cowboyslikeus_pod. New episodes every Monday on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. Y'all come back now. You hear?